Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Wes, the Suburban Viking. Of course, we got Dave here with us. We are Midgard Axe, and today I'm bringing you the Hults Bruk Agdor Montreal pattern felling axe. Damn, that's a mouthful. Right, Dave? Let's get into it. Let's do some axe throwing with a Hults Bruk felling axe. Let's do it. We're gonna go over this axe here now, tell you guys what my experience is with it. I've thrown this axe before, so I don't really have a first impressions, but I'll give you the first impressions of this axe here, okay? And we'll go over the specs, we'll go over everything about this axe, and then I'll give you guys my ultimate opinion or overall opinion on this thing, how it's weighted, how it flies, how it feels in the air, and if it's a good axe for axe throwing. So when a lot of people think about axes, they do think about Hults Bruk. They are a huge company. They've been around since the late 1600s, forging axes. So if you don't know who they are, you must be new to axes or you've been living under a rock, okay, like Dave. Now, getting into Hults Bruk and where they're located, they are located just north of a city in Sweden called Norrköping. Norrköping. Dave showed me how to say that. My accent sucks, but it's pronounced Norrköping. It says in here that the Hults Bruk factory was selected in the late 1600s in that location because of its advantageous spot at the end of a valley at the edge of a forest while being next to an active stream. And if you guys remember my Helkoverk video, they talked about how they picked their location for their factory, and it sounds exactly the same as Hults Bruk. They put it somewhere in a valley, you know, next to a stream to run that wheel to generate power. If you're interested, I would suggest you go over to their website, go to the About Us section. They have a really cool, lengthy, detailed history on who Hults Bruk is and how they're affiliated with the company Hultafors. If you see a Hultafors axe, they are associated with Hults Bruk. Now, taking a quick look on the website at the 28-inch handled Agdor Montreal pattern felling axe, you'll see on here that it says it has a weight of 3.8 pounds. The head weight is 2.5 pounds. It is a 28-inch American hickory handle, and the MSRP is $169. I will tell you guys, I did not pay that much for it. I remember when these axes were going for less than $100. Now they're north of 130, 140. Sometimes you will pay 160 for them, depending on where you go. You can get it cheaper, but it's just crazy how expensive things are now, guys. I remember these axes used to be sub $100, and they had similar quality. One thing I did find interesting about this axe, if you scroll a little bit further down, you'll find out that this axe here is popular in the growing sport of axe throwing. It says that when an axe throwing match ends in a tied score, the big axe, in quotations, or felling axe is used to break the tie and determine the winner. The 28-inch Agdor meets league requirements for size, weight, and materials, and also provides a durable, customizable axe for serious throwers looking to up their game. It talks about how the cutting edge is approximately 4¼ inches, and that all Hults Bruk axes are hand forged, so there might be some slight variations in length and weights and stuff like that, which I've covered that, guys, on this channel before. Going down a little bit farther, it talks about how the axe head is hand forged at the historic Hults Bruk, a forge that has been in operation since 1697. Each axe is made from high quality Swedish axe steel, expertly tempered to hold a very sharp edge, even after repeated sharpening. Painted iconic Agdor blue, sharpened, ready to use. Curved American hickory handle with linseed oil. They put linseed oil on it, and each axe comes with a leather sheath and a detailed user's manual. If you guys are interested in who Hults Bruk is as a company, or if you're interested in their axes, go check out their website. They have a bunch of different axes on there, all kinds of different shapes and sizes and different ones that you can use for pretty much anything and everything, so go check it out. I will give you guys a little bit of information that I haven't given before, and I meant to and forgot. Just so you guys know, some of these axe manufacturers will not give you warranties if you buy them outside of their company or their distributors, meaning like Gränsfors Bruk and Hults Bruk. If you buy their axes on Amazon and they're not an authorized dealer, you will not get the warranty they offer. Just giving you guys a heads up. I've seen a few people run into that issue, and the company comes back and says, well, we didn't authorize them to sell our axes. So keep that in mind. If you are interested in spending a bunch of money on an axe and you want it to hold up and you want the warranty, make sure you go through an authorized dealer, because if you don't, the warranty's not going to hold up. So let's get into some real world specs here. Give you guys some real world measurements and see if they hold up. Okay, the head length from the pole to the bit is 7 inches, okay? The actual bit itself, which we'll have to take this rubber bit cover off. Ugh, this thing is nasty. Nasty. Okay, it's coming in at 4 1/4 inches, and the actual length of the axe is coming in just short of 28. We got 27 3/4 inches long. I weighed this thing in on my scale and it came in at 3 pounds and 6.1 ounces, okay? So, overall, what does this thing look like? Let's take a look at it. As you guys can see here, this thing is brand spanking new, okay? Still has the sticker on it here, and I still have the book attached to the bottom of the handle. And if you guys don't know, every Hults Bruk axe that you get should come with this book. It's just a little book telling you about who they are and the axes they produce and all that. And it also should say on the back, the axe that you purchased should be UPC coded on here, okay? If you're interested, if you're kind of a historian and you like collecting stuff like this, okay, which is pretty cool. So let's get into the actual sheath that comes with this axe, okay? It is a nice sheath. I actually use it for my Midgard Vikings axes that I design, okay? You do have some plastic rivets that kind of sandwich the leather together. They are very tight. I have no separation at all. The strap here at the back, how you put it on is you kind of wrap it around the back of the pole. You put the bit into the sheath, okay? Kind of rest it on your hip here, and then you pull these leather strings on each side until it's tight, and then your sheath is on. To take it off, you just grab the back, you pull it like this, and then it comes off of the axe. I will tell you guys, there's only really one thing about this that some people may not like. It is missing that center section of leather. Now, when I say missing, I'm not saying that they should have put it on there, because they don't. But a lot of more expensive axes will come with a sheath that has a center strip of leather right here. And a lot of people will say that that protects your bit better if your axe was to fall and all that, which I would probably agree with. And basically what it is that you have a piece of leather on the left, a piece of leather on the right, then you have a strip of leather in the center that kind of sandwich all together. This one's missing that center section, but I will tell you guys, I've used this sheath before. It's not bad for the money at all, and it works. It does what it's supposed to do. But of course, guys, what do we do on this channel with cheese? We toss them. Okay, so let's get into the actual axe itself, okay? The actual axe itself is sitting on a 28-inch American hickory handle. Just kind of looking at it, we do have a little bit of grain run out, which I see here, and we do have 45-degree grain orientation at the bottom. Not worried about it. Told you guys that before. That doesn't always mean that it's going to be a bad handle, okay? Just, you got to use it first and find out. Okay, so the handle looks pretty decent. We do have a nice looking handle. I do like the grain in this thing. It looks really nice on here, okay? Getting into the actual fitment of the head, I would have liked for this head to have been brought down maybe another 1/4 of an inch, just a little bit further, but this is what I got, okay? As far as its fitment on the handle, it's nice and straight on the handle. I have no kicks, no nothing. So they did align the head properly on the handle. It looks really good, okay? As far as the seatment goes, we do have a little bit of curling. If you guys can see, we got some curling going on here. And right here, we got some more curling going on. Just kind of looking at the bottom down here, I will tell you guys, I've got some space. I've got space right in here, okay? They did haft it proud, so to speak. I mean, it's proud, but it's barely proud, okay? They did use a steel barrel wedge at the top, but I do want to show you guys something down here towards the actual pole. See, that we have a ton. Let me see if I can get that in there. We have a bunch of space right in there, okay? I don't care for that. I don't like that. That should be filled in. We'll see. It may be okay. It might hold up, but I don't like it. I don't like that. There's too much space, in my opinion, for axe throwing right here. I feel like it's going to loosen up, but we'll see, okay? The actual pole in the back looks pretty decent. It's nice and flat and even with the actual axe head, so that's pretty decent. I do kind of dig this blue paint on here. It's a little different, but it is cool. I do enjoy it. And it kind of tapers down to the cheeks here, which we do have some pretty thin cheeks, guys. Those cheeks are pretty thin with a very thin bit profile. I will say this thing is pretty good how they ground it. It's okay. It's okay. It's not bad. It's not bad. As far as the sharpness goes, it's decent. I think I'll be able to throw this without even sharpening it. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try throwing it and see how well it holds up. I will tell you guys already, we have some gouges in the bit and edge rollover before we even started throwing it. You can see right in there. Right here we got gouges and the bit is a little bit wavy. So if you got this, you'd probably have to redo the bit because I would not use this. I got a feeling when I start throwing this edge is going to roll over like a son of a gun, and I'm going to get a bunch of chips in the bit, but I'm going to throw it how it comes and see how well it flies. Overall throwing experience with the Hults Bruk Agdor Montreal pattern felling axe. I like it, guys, I really do. Like I said before, I've owned more than this one. I've owned 2 or 3 of these prior to getting this one, and they're just really good throwers. Single double rotations is where it's at. If you guys don't know, a double rotation with a 28-inch felling axe is about the same distance as a triple rotation for about a 17 to 20-inch axe. So you're going back there pretty far with a double rotation with a 28-inch felling axe. So all in all, really good flyer. It flies true in the air. You don't get a lot of wobble with 2 hands on the axe when you're stepping back to throw. You will get a lot of wobble throwing it with 1 hand because you have all the weight up here at the head. It's real easy to rotate your wrist. So if you plan on throwing a felling axe with 1 hand, you got to have really good wrist control. You got to make sure you try to keep your wrist locked and come over the top as much as possible and keep that axe straight, or it's going to roll on you every time you throw it. And it's going to be, instead of hitting the target like this, it's going to be hitting like this. So pay attention to your wrist if you throw this felling axe one-handed. I do like these handles. Like I've told you guys before, these things are beasts. This thing held up. I beat the hell out of it, and it's held up very well. I will say up here, guys, is starting to come down a little bit. It's like mushrooming over, but it's coming down, and it's going to stop. But I'll be honest with you, I'm going to keep this one. I'm going to throw it for a while. I'll probably end up taking the steel barrel wedge out of this thing and seating it down a little bit farther. That's just not enough up there for me to just, you know, coming out of the axe head. I need a little bit more than that, so I'll probably fix that in the future. But it's still on there. It didn't move at all. I don't see where it's came down or moved up any. It's just this top is starting to kind of mushroom over. The bit, as you guys see here, if you can see the bit, it rolled over pretty well. And I've got a nasty chip right here. So if I got this thing, what I would end up doing is I'd end up reprofiling this edge. I'd probably shade the cheeks down a little bit more, and I'd get a better edge on this thing, because the way it comes from the factory, it's a little too thin, and with the weight of this head hitting into the target and how thin this thing is, you're just gonna have edge rollover all day long, which I did have on this. Now, as far as the handle and the way it comes, I think it's pretty good. I don't think I'd probably do much of anything to this handle for axe throwing. Look at that, guys. And for chopping. If I was to use this for chopping, it'd be exactly where I would want it in my hand. It's not too thick and it's not too thin. It's exactly where I would want it to be. So that is nice. If I do any more modifications to the handle, just my personal experience, I'd probably shave this knob down a little bit more. I forgot on the other ones I did that. I'd probably shave this knob down. It's a little bit too high, and when you go back to throw for double rotations and you go to release this thing, it does hang up on your bottom left hand. If you're right-handed, it'll hang up. So I'd probably take some of the knob down here and kind of flatten it out a little bit more to get more of a smooth transition out of the hand. But all in all, guys, not bad. Nice Swedish Hults Bruk felling axe. What a great flyer. It didn't feel too heavy for a single rotation. It does feel a tad bit cumbersome for a double rotation, but once you practice with it, you kind of fling it in the air and you kind of have to aim a little higher than you normally would to get it to kind of lob in there at a double rotation. But single rotations, this thing is great, it's very accurate, and it's just fun to throw. Taking a huge, big, long 28-inch felling axe out, even though the head's not super huge, but taking this long handle out, it really kind of stretches you out a little bit, and it gets you out of your comfort zone if you're used to throwing 15 or 17-inch hatchets. Get you a felling axe. These things are great, and they're a lot of fun to throw. If you guys are in the market for a felling axe for axe throwing, consider this one the Hults Bruk Agdor axe. I love it. Handles are usually tanks. Head's good for axe throwing. Once you reprofile that bit, not a bad thrower, not a bad thrower. I appreciate all your support, but until next time, guys, see ya. We're out of here. Thanks for your support. See you guys. What do you think, Dave? Good enough for axe throwing? I'd say it was. See you guys. The finger is finally healed. Check that out. You guys can see that or not? My finger is finally healed. Oh man, that's a nasty one there, but I love it. I've got them everywhere, guys. Look at that. I've got one here, and I've got one there, one here, one across here, and then I've got a nasty one right there. I mean, they're just constant. You know, when you work with axes as much as I do and throw them and do all kinds of crazy stuff, stuff's gonna happen, okay? It is what it is. Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Wes, the Suburban Viking. Of course, we got Dave here with us, and we are from, ow, this fucking book keeps hitting me. Fuck you, book.